meeting of the Petaluma City Schools Board of Education. If you would all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Sherry, if you wouldn't mind.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a bias to Sherry when we do this? Is that what you were saying? No, well, I figured since you were 47 days in Europe, you get to all right. Couple of housekeeping. If I could ask everybody either to turn them off or put them on vibrate, please, cell phones. That'd be real helpful. I do notice that my Wi-Fi bar is dramatically lower, and I'm sure that's because 60 of you probably have Wi-Fi set up. So we may go a little slow if that's the reason. We're going to go to the adoption, item E, adoption and approval of the agenda.
Second.
I think I had
I would like one item removed on the Sonoma State counseling item.
You want to move from consent to hold, right?
Yes, just for discussion.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get to that.
Okay.
It's K1.
K2,
K2? Counseling? I'm sorry, K2. Yeah.
the field experience.
Mhm.
Got it.
K2.
All right. So with that change, are we okay with the agenda?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So we will play it that way. Moving to item F, minutes. Approval of the minutes for 7/15 of 2014. Sherry, I believe you were not here.
So not
Ineligible.
Second.
Get a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
401.
401. Okay, item G. What do we have? Mila, presentation.
Good evening, everybody. Just bear with me 1 second until it's okay, we have to go to. All right, thank you. All right, so I'm the substitute teacher today in place of Mrs. Escobedo, so bear with me. I'm going to talk about the new form of professional development that we're embarking upon in the district. It's called Petaluma Learning Network. So, it's a professional development model where teachers engage in action research, that is, research into practice, by choosing a strategy to explore or some kind of research question. So they get into small groups, choose together what their research focus might be, and work collaboratively. In this particular case, they'll be designing a lesson, perhaps, or even a unit, depends on a group, because every group will choose their own focus for research. And once they design it, they will try it in the classroom. The idea is to experiment and to encourage teacher agency. And once they do that, they will observe 1 or 2 of their colleagues from the group who will volunteer, hopefully, and learn together, analyze the evidence of student learning or misconceptions, whatever it may be, tweak the lesson, and then perhaps reteach it. So, why do we want to do this? Professional Learning Network is a form of 21st century learning and teaching. The idea for this originated among the teachers in the curriculum committee and in the technology committee. It is also a very good idea for teachers to model what we want students to do, and that is to engage in inquiry, because that's the most creative way of learning that promotes thinking. And so if we want kids to engage in that inquiry, we really want teachers, we want to model what we preach, right? Okay, and just to support that idea, here is a little quote from Michael Palmisano's work. He says, collaborative inquiry offers an alternative to one-size-fits-all and top-down approaches to educator professional learning. Moving from professional learning approached as the acquisition of methods and structures developed outside the classroom and the school. Collaborative inquiry places educators in the role of actively constructing professional knowledge through treating their classrooms and schools as sites for investigation. So what research shows is that workshops alone are not as effective of a form of professional development as they could be if they're used in combination with other embedded methods of professional development, such as coaching, such as collaborative inquiry groups. And this is one of the groups that we would like to work in. So, when is this going to happen? So we already started on August 15th. The majority of teachers chose their groups in advance and joined their groups. We have group leaders who help to facilitate the work of a group. We give them some training in facilitation, but it's a collegial interaction. They're not the bosses. They're people who move the process along. So on the first day, the majority of the groups were able to identify their focus for research. What is what we call driving question. What is it that they would like to investigate in their practice? They also established the norms, at least the norms for interacting together. Some groups started talking about the norms of visitation, classroom visitations. The next meeting will be on October 13th. And then teachers will get to meet in these collaborative groups once a month on release days. And then they will decide, they will get one full day of release, every teacher. They can choose either to visit one teacher from their group or break it into 2 half days and go to visit 2 teachers. And the idea is not so much to discuss what teachers will be doing, but the evidence of student learning, so that we can kind of hone on our strategies and really distribute best practice across the district. On January 6th, it's going to be very exciting because teachers will get to share their findings and learn with each other. So that's, and if it works, perhaps we will continue the process. These are the outcomes we're hoping for. So we hope that this process will help us deepen instructional practices in terms of implementing Common Core state standards. We also want to nurture the open door environment, because by the very nature of our profession, we as teachers are isolated very often and don't get to interact with adults and with our colleagues as much as people say in business or in other workplaces. So we want to encourage that open door environment, which can be risky. So we want to encourage risk taking too. We want to strengthen instructional coherence. We want to make sure that the best practice is spread all across the district, that we all see excellence in the same, through the same lens, so that when one says it's great and another one says it's great, it's similar. Okay? We certainly hope to build leadership capacity among teachers, and many of them already stepped up. Many of you already stepped up. And we hope to increase collaboration. And of course, all of that, in the end, is about students. So it's going to hopefully improve student achievement, because we as teachers will become better practitioners and better experts at what we do. And that's all I have, unless you have questions. Yes?
Are they grade level groups or how are the groups?
They're very flexible. So it's a choice. A lot of people chose by grade level, which is natural. Some people chose by the subject they teach. Okay? Some groups are interdisciplinary. The idea is that it comes from teachers, that it's very grassroots kind of movement where they get to choose, they get to make their professional decisions. Because that's what research shows. The best professional development is when teachers make decisions, when they're not imposed from the top.
And what were some examples of some of the research topics they chose? Some of the groups?
Oh, some of the topics. Well, the topics were organized around the 3 instructional priorities that were also determined in the curriculum committee. So they are close reading, which is one of the strategies that helps students to decipher very complex texts, because that's a huge deficit across the country, really. Students don't know how to read complex texts when they come to high school and college. And so we need to teach them very intentionally. And one of the strategies is close reading strategy. So that's something that we want to focus on. The second one was facilitating student discourse within the classroom. And the third one is writing, evidence-based writing. So teachers could choose any strategies or any focus questions, but they had to align with one of the 3 priorities or with several priorities, but mostly. So some of the teachers chose to, for instance, see how they can use academic vocabulary. How can they teach students to use academic vocabulary in meaningful discourse during classroom discussions? That's one of the topics. Some topics there were a lot of interesting topics, really, and we have a collection of them. And I have to say, not 100%, of course, but the majority of responses that we received were very positive. So that's very encouraging.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thanks, Mila.
All right, we're going to move on to comments from the public. I have a number of speaker cards. Do I have any more speaker cards? Nobody else has a speaker card? Okay. So I'm not going to, we've got a bunch of veterans in here. I'm not going to go through and read the fine print of how we do this. I think you all pretty much know the story. Let me just summarize if I can. Each subject, 20 minutes. I've got a couple of questions on a couple of speakers because I'm not sure where to put them exactly. Melissa McGarry.
Technology and the Common Core.
Okay, so is that contract related or is that a separate issue? It can be whichever you want. I'm sorry?
It's contract related.
Contract related. Well, if you tell me it's separate, I'll give you more time.
Curriculum related.
Separate. All right.
Study.
Now, Jeanette, based upon what I just said, early education. Jeanette, right here. It's Jeanette, it's RC. Let's call it separate, okay. So the deal is this. I've got about 9 cards of Sandra. Didn't see where, oh, there you go. I'm going to ask you to help me with this. On order, if you'd like. Do you want to start or work your way out? And then Loretta, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. I got about 5 here. So since you're sitting in front of the class today, we'll let you go first. So CSA, do you want to start? Do you want to? Do you want to start? Do you want? I've got Loretta,
Sure.
Laura, Debbie.
Yeah, no, I would like to start.
John and Kim. Okay. So 4 minutes a person, 20 minutes a second.
Okay.
All right. And
Good evening, board.
You know the reasons why we have to be stickler about it, right?
I
You sat through enough of
absolutely
these
know.
meetings in the last
I
6 months
absolutely
that you
know.
understand.
No, I know. I've been to enough of them, but I know there are rules, and there's a reason there's rules.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I understand.
Good evening, board. My name is Loretta Cruz-Vangi. I live at 1100 Santa Barbara Way here in Petaluma. I'm the president of the classified unit here. I just wanted to let you know that the classified negotiating team came to a mutual agreement with the district, and I know you've probably heard this, but I'm just going to tell you. With the district on what we felt was a fair and equitable salary increase. We held a vote last week on Monday, August 11th. The majority of our members voted no. Some of them are here tonight to let you know you and the district know the reason for their voting no. It is my understanding that as far back as any employee could recall, we have not had an agreement fail to pass. So, anybody who would like to go next? Laura, Debbie, John? Okay, Laura. And then John, and then Debbie, and then Guillermo. How's that?
Laura, wait.
Laura Keaton.
John,
Debbie.
Guillermo's our closer.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello. Nervous. Okay, my name is Laura Keaton. I live on Searles Way in Petaluma.
Do not be nervous.
I won't, but I am. I'm a senior school secretary at Petaluma High School, and I've worked for the district for about 8 years. On August 7th and 8th, the district management team went off to enjoy a 2-day retreat that included golf and kayaking, as well as being lodged in $400 a night rooms. How can the district justify spending public funds on a retreat for the entire management team while classified staff was busy cleaning campuses and preparing school sites for the return of students? And this was a particularly difficult and challenging time because of the move to online registration. When we, as a group, are told that the district is hurting for funds but has enough money to pay for a kayaking and golf retreat for management, not only is it demoralizing to us as a group, but it calls into question the legitimacy of the funds available. We have not had a raise since 2007, and yet the cost of gas, housing, food, and healthcare has skyrocketed. Maybe the lack of funds is not the problem, but rather the district's misplaced sense of priorities. New management and certificated positions are being created without hiring any support for these new positions. Due to layoffs, classified employees are being forced to take on more responsibilities and duties to ensure that the work gets done, and our paychecks have yet to reflect this increase in work. There are 3 new administrative management positions at the district office costing over $323,000 a year. And we are just asking for a fair and decent salary increase. Thank you.
John?
Hello, board. I'm the district's HVAC specialist, the refrigeration specialist. If the school district tends to negotiate in good faith, there should not be any issue at all with a Me Too clause. The district claims that there is no money available for salary or benefits. So, then why is the Me Too clause any issue? When the districts asked us to take furlough days to help them weather the financial storm, we took all the furlough days across the board, teachers, everyone. So, we were treated equal, going down in pay, and we feel that we should be treated the same or equal now that there is any opportunity for a chance of increase in pay. United we bargain, equality for all bargaining, and divided we put a wedge between us all. I believe, in all reality, that if the agreement would have included a Me Too clause, it would have passed. That's all I have to say.
Good evening, Board. I am speaking in support of CSEA Chapter 212. I was at first hesitant to voice my thoughts tonight because I work in the district office and felt that it might be awkward. The more I reflected on it, the more I realized it is important that our voices be heard. I, for too long, have been a passive union member and have left all the work to a few, and I am very thankful for all they do. Our union has always worked in good faith and camaraderie with the district and will continue to do so. We have never in our history voted no on a contract that I am aware of. We do so now because we believe it is time for the district to step up and bring the hardworking classified staff up to a fair working wage. With health costs going up, A 2.7% wage increase is in actuality no increase for most of us. Some have even gone down in pay. We cannot afford to keep seeing no increase in our paychecks. We have been doing so for 7 years. Our frustration lies in the fact that we hear the administration telling us that they don't have money, but we see them adding admin and management positions, adding to people's salaries by changing their titles, going on retreats and scavenger hunts, but we as a classified staff are left out once again. As the district has often told us, we are all here for the students, and we as the classified staff have proven that year after year, that is truly the case for us. I will end with this. We value having all the staff of this district being treated with respect and dignity, equity and fairness, and sustaining positive relationships with each other. Thank you for listening and considering our situation.
Good evening, board. My name is Guillermo Magaña. I'm one of the mechanics of the transportation department. And this is my first time actually talking over here in front of you guys. So if you have to look for something, just please excuse me. Today, I would like to take the opportunity to remind you the importance of classified school employees by providing you with an insight of what a typical working day looks like for most classified employees. The transportation department is up and running by 5:30 a.m. Drivers arrive by 6 a.m. in preparation of the morning routes. Also, by 6 a.m., custodians are at sites, walking through and making sure that everything is in good order before students and teachers arrive. Shortly after, cafeteria personnel are preparing for breakfast and lunch before students arrive. By 7 a.m., maintenance and operations is up and running, preparing the trucks and their equipment to begin their working days. They also respond to any emergencies that might occur overnight or throughout the weekend. Warehouse personnel delivers food to the sites where meals are prepared and served to our students. As the 8 o'clock hour arrives, the school buses are arriving and dropping off the students. Many of them are greeted by campus supervisors as they make their way through the cafeteria to grab some breakfast that was prepared earlier by cafeteria personnel. As the students head out to their respective classrooms, many are met by instructional, full inclusion, special education, and bilingual instructional assistance. When lunchtime comes around, classified employees continue to work to ensure that a safe and secure environment for students. As the end of the school day arrives, buses are waiting to transport the students back home. Although some people may think that this is the end of the working day, the night custodians are gearing up to clean up the sites and get everything clean and ready for the next day, carrying their shifts into 11:30 p.m. Around 4 o'clock, maintenance and operations are done for the day. Buses are returning to the bus garage of the transportation department and ending their working day by 5 p.m. Let's not forget the secretaries, school secretaries, site secretaries, and all the district personnel here at the district office that keep the district running. Classified school employees work very hard to help accomplish the students' goals, educational goals. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Melissa. Regarding technology.
Yes. Good evening, board. My name is Melissa McGarry. I'm an English teacher at San Antonio High School, and I have two elementary students at McNeil. And I'm here to talk about Common Core and technology. With the emphasis on technology, in the Common Core, we've been charged with the task of incorporating more and more into our classrooms. I've been trained to use Aries. I've been trained to use Gmail and Google Apps. I've taught my students to create Google Docs and share documents. I'm excited to set up a class website and integrate discussion forums and blogs into my assignments. All of these modes of communication are exciting. I've seen ways I can improve my instruction and better prepare my students for the 21st century workforce and citizenship. I've seen veteran teachers who were skeptical of technology embrace some of these new tools, and it's really exciting. However, I have to go through a learning curve to become comfortable with all these new pieces. I have to spend enough time on them so I'm comfortable and knowledgeable enough to teach my students how to use them. Many sites require that I invite my students, which means entering the emails of ever-changing class lists. All of this takes time. With the push to connect online with parents and students comes more interactions. This is what we want. We want to be communicating with parents and students. But answering an onslaught of emails takes time. Reading blogs and forums takes a lot of time. Our workload could increase exponentially depending on how much we embrace all these new avenues of communication. And if I'm feeling the pressure at San Antonio with our small class sizes, then I can only imagine how the comprehensive, the middle school, and the elementary school teachers are feeling. There are people in the private world whose entire job description is updating the website, sending out email blasts, and tweeting or Twittering.
It's their time, so.
If the expectations of Common Core are really that we increase our tech in our classrooms to the degree of what we've seen in trainings, then either the district needs to hire us assistants or give us a raise. When I moved to Petaluma 8 years ago from the Long Beach Unified School District, I took a $10,000 pay cut with no real difference in benefits. I've looked at other districts in Southern California, and that seems to be about the average. I don't understand the disparity because my living expenses certainly aren't any lower in Sonoma County. I'm not going to tell you about my mortgage and my car payments and my child care because you're not responsible for paying my bills. I am required to be highly qualified. I am required to have expertise in my subject. I'm also responsible for the mental and physical safety of my students. My salary is not commensurate to my required education and my responsibilities. And now my workload has increased. I appreciate your consideration of these aspects as you get back to the negotiating table.
Thank you.
Hey folks, can we not clap while people are talking? To me, it would be just as disrespectful if you started booing. It's their time to talk and people get really nervous. And it's great that you're applauding, but just when they're talking, if you could let them finish and let them have their time. And it also makes sure I can hear them. So the clapping afterwards, but if while they're talking, if you could just let them have their time, I would appreciate it.
Reasonable? Okay, Jeanette.
Hi, board, Steve, Donna, thank you for listening to me. My name is Jeanette R.C., 73 Mission, and I would like to speak on behalf of our awesome early childhood educators, the TK and the kindergarten teachers here in our district. And I say this without boasting, but just to show credibility, I hope, with my thing. I've been at Grant 31 years, and 34 in our district, 35 as a teacher, and 33 of those as an early childhood educator. So I hope you listen. But what I'd like the district to do is to I'm asking them that before they make educational, and on behalf of everyone, of course, before we make educational or fiscal decisions that really impact our young ones, that directly impact them, what I would like to do is ask that you always, or could at least consider consulting the professionals that are in the trenches. And I know you're probably thinking, well, we do that, we've done that, but we have, Steve, we have a lot more to share with you, and we have a lot more needs. And I really am very serious about hoping that before you do make some very serious decisions, and we've had some rough roads in the last few years, as you know, that you do consult the people that are directly working with them. Okay, that's all I think. Oh, yeah. Oh, the last thing is the most important thing. Oh, I forgot. And of course, we always, all of us, all the early childhood educators, I can't speak on behalf of everybody on the staff here, but we welcome, because we haven't seen you, all of you, that we welcome all the board members. Steve, welcome everyone to our classrooms during school time. Please come. We just can't wait for you to come. So, and thank you. I've seen some of your faces, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Sandra, how do you want to do it?
I'll go and then we'll see who's after me. I don't have the cards, so I don't.
Oh, you want to look at them real quick? Or do you want to just go random?
Just go random.
Okay.
That would be great.
Good nine, so we'll round up. Okay.
My name is Sandra Larson, and I'm the chief negotiator for the Petaluma Federation of Teachers Local 1881. I'm here to talk to the board about the state of our negotiations with district administration. But first, I'd like to clear up some misinformation from an article that appeared in the Press Democrat last week. The article stated that Mr. Bowman received a 2.5 salary increase, but I believe there was also a parity raise as well. Other management officials were also granted a parity raise. Parity is a funny thing to me. One superintendent gets their school board to give them a raise, and they all get it, while we've been kept lower, artificially lower than the rest of the county. I'm holding here the J90. I hope you guys all get this every year and look at it. It is a list, for those who don't know about the J90, it is a summary of salary and benefits for all districts in Sonoma County. The latest report used the data from the 2012-13 school year. Petaluma City Schools is the second largest district based on ADA. When we look at beginning salaries, a beginning teacher in our district is 22 out of 30 in Sonoma County. Mr. Bowman himself has acknowledged that that's a problem. However, there have been no solutions offered to fix that problem. We can look at certificated employees with a bachelor's and 60 units on step 10. Petaluma City Schools employee is number 7. That's the best we get in this list. Checking maximum salary, we see that Petaluma City Schools drops to 16 out of 30, and we are ranked 14 out of 30 when we look at average teacher salary. There are also 11 other districts in Sonoma County that have higher employee contributions for health benefits. When we look at our superintendent's salary, we see that he is the 3rd highest paid superintendent in the county. And if you take into consideration the health and welfare costs, he's probably the 2nd highest. The average teacher in this district is 14. Our superintendent is 30. This does not include the perks that were added to our superintendent's contract, and I do hope to discuss those with the board on another day. Budgets set priorities. By their very nature, they say what you value. The budget that was adopted by this board does not show our members that you value our work. I know that you were shown graphs that indicated certificated employee salary takes up the largest portion of the budget, but that shouldn't have been a surprise to anyone. We're the largest group. Our superintendent talked about our 92% graduation rate at our training last Thursday. The people in this room, the classified and certificated, are the reason the graduation rate is so high. If you haven't done so yet, I urge you to look at the J90 and also look at the budget, study it independently, and ask lots of questions. Please don't think that this is just about money. It's not. It's about respect and effective leadership. I was at a district level committee meeting last December when a member of the management team stated that the best thing about our district were weak unions.
Sandra, are you close?
Okay, one more?
Yeah, well, you're old. You're close.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
going.
The exact quote I wrote down was, other districts have strong unions, we don't have that problem here. They said that teachers in other districts have teachers that demanded and received concessions. My first reaction was, ouch, that hurts. My second reaction was shock at the total lack of respect our district administrators have for us. And the third was that our union needed to become strong. We have become strong, we are united, and we're working together to negotiate the best possible contract. I'll skip the rest and go to the end. Sadly, now our negotiations have stopped. The district is refusing to negotiate if our members are in the room. We are taken back by this. Having our members observe no negotiations is nothing new. What is that message to our members? We've been referred to as the public, and then we were referred to as people. What is the message our members are to take from this refusal? Does the district find us untrustworthy? Or were they afraid to be in a room full of certificated employees? The district has had 2 tentative agreements rejected in less than a year, in a little more than a year. We want our members to be involved in the process. We have nothing to hide. We'd love you guys to come too. We believe having our members present can only help us ratify an agreement when it's reached. I'm asking you, the board members of Petaluma City Schools, to direct district administration to come back to the table. Our members quietly observing the process can only help us navigate through difficult times. In addition, I'm asking you to direct administration to truly negotiate and bargain in good faith. I'm confident we can reach an agreement that will benefit all parties. Thank you.
Doug, why don't you come on up? Sandra, you're such
My good board members.
3 minutes, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, 3 minutes, right?
Oh, I got it. That's the cutoff. I don't have anything prepared, and I don't have Sandra with her foot on my foot to stop me, so I'll rely on you, Troy. My good board members, administrators, and teachers, classified, parents, and children, hopefully. I don't know where to start, but I think, I teach 3rd grade. And I've been before you before, and it's been around kindergarten and around kids and students. This is about students, right? It is about students. But it's also about the values that we teach them as teachers. I mean, I teach 3rd grade. I teach, let's say, loyalty, for instance. This is blue. It's loyal. It's loyalty. It's on our flag. It hosts our stars of our states. Courage to speak, and I want to thank the classified for standing with us. I think we need to stay unified like this. If the management wants to go ahead and give themselves a raise, that's somebody submitting it to you and you got to give them a raise, that's fine. But to stand together as workers, I think that's loyalty. But it's also loyalty to regard the people that are in the trenches, that are working hard day to day on the face of our education system. We are the face here, what you see here. That we face the parents, we face the children, willingly, lovingly, caringly, and professionally. And this is about loyalty to teachers as well as to students. Now, I know I can give lots of. I'm glad Mila. She's still here. Okay. Mila, it's nice to meet you because that's the first time I met you and seen you and had you introduced to us. Thank you. But I also want to point out that. The Petaluma Learning Network, our time at the last staff development, pulled us out of our Petaluma Learning Network. Maybe you don't even know this. And we went into something that talked rigor to us, about rigor to the elementary, how we need to drive rigor and drive assessment to drive our instruction. And I thought I was trying to look behind again. I was shocked. And I listened to this person, these 2 people, and I went, oh my Lord, and I hope you're aware of this, but I hope the Petaluma City Schools is not going this direction. And that's about kids. You know, I also had all the soap dispensers and paper towel dispensers removed from my class, and something that can't be used by children's wet hands to drag anything out. It doesn't have anything, and the things come unrolled, and I understand that they have to replace them all again. They first filled the dispensers with some kind of not an insecticide, it was like a antibiotic. It was the wrong thing. So all those had to be thrown away. And then we got soap in them. Now we have completely different things. I am shocked with the way, thank you. They've asphalted our parking lots before they paid teachers and workers in classified. Now, this is a question of value, and I think Sandra hit on it. This is about value. If you value and respect your workers, then you pay them accordingly. If you don't, you lose good teachers, and you have this kind of system. You have to pass Chuck Cadman's rock every time you go. Thank you. You have to pass Chuck Cadman's rock every time you walk in. Well, Chuck Cadman was about shared decision-making and loyalty to his workers. I want you to please direct your management to get back to that so that they don't stand higher and so much greater than we do in our respect and loyalty in this community. Thank you.
Wait, I knew I saw you earlier, I just couldn't find you. Thank you.
All right. Sorry, way in the back. Good evening, Steve, Donna, school board. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to stand with everyone who's in this room for the things that we all believe in. And I just wanted to bring up an idea that's come very apparent this summer as we tried to hire science teachers at Petaluma High School. It took us over 4 rounds of trying to hire science teachers from all over the state, from Southern California, talking about Long Beach and that area, partially because the minute they looked at the salary, they didn't come. I spoke personally to many of these teachers about how wonderful it is to work here. I've been here for over 20 years. I've been teaching for 33. I came to Petaluma because it was a great place to work. I came here because I believed in working with the teachers and the administration and the 2 high schools together. And some of that has eroded over the years that I've been here. And that's been sad to see. It's sad to see senior teachers leave because they can't afford to teach anymore. It's sad to think that I might leave to go to another district where I could make more money so that I could retire with some comfort. It's sad that in the last 20 years I've had to work multiple jobs besides this job in order to pay my bills. And I'd like to see the district come to a place where they value teachers with the money that teachers need to survive in Sonoma County, to be able to work here in a district that I believe in, but that they can't afford to teach in. We lost a teacher to a southern county because they make more money. We hired a teacher this year who's talking about going to another district where he was offered a job at $20,000+ more than we offer him here, and better benefits. He came here because we convinced him that this was a good place to teach, and I am doing my damnedest, excuse me, to keep him here and to keep him happy. But that's really hard to do when you find out you can't pay the bills. So I'd like you to take a look at where we place our money and what our priorities are. Thank you.
Sarah. Sarah?
Sarah. Oops. Is that Sarah or here?
Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello, I'm
I'm Sarah Obaj, and I teach at Casa Grande High School. And I've been a teacher since 1994, and I've been teaching in the district since 2001. And as I was thinking about what to say, I was thinking about the word respect. And I was thinking about why I became a teacher. And it started with my mom, who was a 4th grade teacher, 4th through 6th grade for 29 years. I knew about the long hours. I knew about how much time went into the classroom, into the preparation. And when I decided I wanted to teach high school, I had an idea of what I was getting into. But even with all of that preparation that I had, that life experience living with teachers, I really wasn't prepared for the amount of work it takes to be an English teacher. And I know my colleagues have their own set of papers that they have to grade, but I really wasn't prepared for that. My day starts at 5 a.m. and ends usually at midnight. And I have 2 small children that are 8 and 11. And I spend hours away from them, hours at school, hours grading. I'm here, and I've spent hours as a negotiator in negotiation meetings. And I'm thinking about respect, and I'm thinking about how much time that we put into our jobs and how much respect we are shown. We are told that we shape the future. We are told that we are professionals, but our paychecks do not seem to be reflecting this. As you've heard over and over again, we have not had a raise since 2007. We are, as I understand it, 12% behind COLA. We have given up days voluntarily, and I know that the people who retired this year lost upwards of $15,000 because of the cuts that were taken from 2007. So we were happy to get them something for their retirement. Members of the board, Steve, we are ready to negotiate. We ask that the district respect the process as we are respecting the process. We respect ourselves. We respect the students. And we are ready to come back to the table. So we ask that you would respect the teachers by coming back to the table and working with us to come to an agreement that is fair and equitable and that shows the respect that we deserve for all that we do. Thank you.
Karen, is it Tamborski? That's it correctly, Karen?
Hi there, I'm Karen Tamborski. I work at Petaluma High School. I'm a special day class teacher. I've been there for 16 plus years. I gave up already. I would like to thank, first of all, start by thanking Steve Bowman for his presentation at Kenilworth Junior High when we had our Friday meeting there. It was in that presentation that Mr. Bowman began a lengthy speech by informing everyone that our schools had the lowest dropout rate in the country, and as well as the highest graduation rate here in the country and in California. He mentioned several times the wonderful job teachers and staff are performing in their efforts to educate, support, and prepare students for their future. Then he went on, however, to switch gears, and he spoke to the group about all the wonderful things that have recently been passed by the bond funding issue, which will cover such updates to pools, gyms, tracks, field needs, one-to-one devices, classroom tech packages, and 21st century furniture. What Mr. Bowman neglected to talk about was the amount of time, effort, and communication teachers and staff are being asked to commit to the workplace environment. Over the past 6, 7 plus years, we have not gotten an increase in salary, but the changes to school have been coming. We've had changes to schools, classrooms, and technology, which have increased our workload tremendously. At a staff meeting I attended yesterday, Mr. Sturrett, our principal of Petaluma High School, commented on the absolutely tremendous growth rate in AP scores that is occurring in our high school students. And I'm not talking just 10 points. I'm talking 50, 75 plus points and more. This growth has been consistently improving year after year after year. What has also increased is the change in workload expectations, technological advances, and communication networks. I'm not sure those on the board or in the public realize how these advancements have been affecting our workplace environment. There have been increases in demand for accountability, knowing what we are doing, why we are doing it, why it is working or not, reading research and accountability reports, and developing curriculum to improve student performance and test scores. Increases for use of technology in the classroom with record keeping and how we communicate with each other and share information amongst a variety of personnel with students and parents is consistently and constantly being developed, implemented, and looked at for improvement. We have seen an enormous increase in the demands of our student population and the needs of those students. The recent decision to return SCO classes to our campuses, while I support this decision and inclusion of students, has shifted funds and are being returned to the district. We'd like to know a little bit more about what's happening with those funds. We are being asked to be more accountable, more reliable, more involved, think more globally, and embrace diversities, all within the demands of working with students, our first and foremost concern. We are being stretched beyond and have not seen an increase in our wages for 7 years. And I believe you already have this information, my last baby bit. If you need more information on these stats, I know of the wonderful job teachers and support staff are doing in their schools in the Petaluma School District. I know you can ask Mr. Bowman or any principal of any school in the district. They have this information, and we are asking for a 4% salary increase because we are working to meet all of the demands of the 21st century classroom, and more importantly, we are working to help students be the best they can be, get a great education, and be prepared for their future. Thank you.
Excuse me? I have 4 more. Oh, cool. Okay. Everyone sit still. Arlene.
Exactly.
I gotta ask you to try to be respectful of the 3 minutes, so can you help me out? So I got 4 more.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Arlene Burney. I'm the band director at Casa Grande High. I'm not here to talk about music tonight. But I want you to bear with me because I want to take you on a little journey. This summer, I had the opportunity, after 16 years, to go to Israel. And I got a chance to visit family and friends. It was an unfortunate timing in world events. And when I got there, all hell broke loose, sorry, but it did. And 3 boys' bodies were discovered, then an Arab was killed, then Gaza decided to fire rockets, and it went downhill from there. I got to travel all over the country, and I got to talk to everybody and listen. And what I discovered was an underlying intolerance, distrust, and even hatred between Jews and Arabs, which was very disturbing. But I was very, very glad to get back to America. And when I got back, I was very thankful to know that we were better than this. But while I was in Israel, I also was tuned into the news of the rest of the Middle East. And unfortunately, it wasn't so good either. ISIS took over Iraq, causing death.
Are you going to swing around?
I am. Hold on.
In a minute, 40
Okay.
seconds, right?
Yep.
All right.
ISIS took
'Cause
over.
I control a lot from this chair, I can tell you right now, but
Okay.
I can't stop the rockets. So.
No.
If I could, done right now.
Okay. ISIS took over Iraq and caused death and destruction. Syria continued to annihilate its citizens, and Lebanon continued to have insurgent groups. But when I got back, again, I knew that we were better than this here in America. Less than 2 weeks ago, an unfortunate killing happened in Ferguson, Missouri. Riots, looting, shootings, tear gas, mayhem ensued. Obvious racism and intolerance were alive and well in America. But I knew that here in Petaluma, we were much, much better than this. But here we are, the dedicated teachers of Petaluma City Schools, the dedicated teachers that have achieved the 92% graduation rate, have dedicated our lives to students, and have given up 7 years of a salary increase. We're not Hamas, we're not Hezbollah, we're not ISIS, we're not the folks of Ferguson, yet we can't sit down and negotiate. And here, I thought all this time that we here in Petaluma are better than this. All I'm asking is let's show our community the people of Petaluma that we are better than this, and let's talk. Thank you.
Carrie. We have Carrie up here?
I don't usually get nervous, but I feel a little nervous. I'm just gonna let you know.
Clearly no reason.
It happened like 3 times in my life, and it's happening right now. So it's an interesting moment. I wanted to just say thank you for the opportunity to talk to you, board members, Mr. Goldman, Ms. Bryans as well. Thank you. My name is Carrie Caudill. I teach kindergarten and 1st grade at Mary Collins School at Cherry Valley, a K-8 school where I used to teach 7th and 8th grade. It's my 11th year of teaching. I also have the privilege and responsibility of supporting our membership and coming together as best as we can as a union. I hope that, I know that 3 board seats are up, and Ms. Lebowski, Mr. Badley, and Ms. Ellis, I have emailed you and called you. I'm waiting for your response regarding our date on September 2nd. I'm hoping you're able to attend that Meet the Candidates night. So let me know about that at a later time. What I'm here to talk about is not a raise. And I'm not here to talk about, us getting pampered. When I was working in business, right out of college, I used to get, I got 20% raises, and these sorts of things. I'm not talking about that. I live in Petaluma, and I had my child in 2007, and in 2008 I lost my house. And I know some people didn't want to talk about that, but that's really hard. Especially when you only have 1 child, and you only have 1 child and you can't raise her in Petaluma. So maybe this is why I was feeling nervous, was because I'm not talking about a raise. I'm talking about a cost of living adjustment. And it costs a lot of money to live here. My dad lives in Healdsburg, and he's lived in Healdsburg for decades. My dad is like old school Healdsburg, and he goes to the feed store kind of Healdsburg. He's not like the Carmel version. And so, and I love Carmel version of Healdsburg because it's some great food, and I like to eat some food. But my dad laughed at me and said, "Honey, you're not living in Sonoma County. You live in North Marin." He used to work on a lot of houses in Marin County, and he knows, he knows what it's like here in Petaluma. It's very expensive to live here and to raise your family. So yes, I lost my house. Yes, I had to borrow money from people who didn't have much more money than I do. Yes, I bounced checks. Yes, I had to pay for childcare. And so I said, okay, what's my union doing? What's my union doing? And then I realized, oh, geez, Louise, I'm the union. And so then I became more involved in the union. And I was like, I have to do more work. I work 12-hour days all the time, and I work for half of my 5-week summer. So okay, I'll do more work. And so then I went all headlong into Prop 30. And I worked my tail off for Prop 30. And I got people to come in and phone bank, and we worked together for Prop 30 with the district, right? And we won. And I was so excited, and then I was like, woohoo, Prop 30! When am I going to see my part of Prop 30? But I have not seen my part of Prop 30. I've not seen a cost of living adjustment nor a raise. I left college, and I wanted to learn some new skills, and so I ended up a project manager in technology. And I quickly, as a 23-year-old, was a director of a department, and got 20% raises all the time. In the private sector, a 10% raise is how you do business. Our negotiating team, of which I'm not a part, came asking for a 7% not raise, but a cost of living adjustment. The district came with 2% cost of living adjustment. Our negotiating team went down to 4%. The district went up to 2.5%. That hardly covers, if it covers at all, the health care increases that are on the table. With senseless spending, including one-to-one devices for kindergartners at the expense of our classified brothers and sisters, I don't understand why a 1.5% difference is still such an issue. I ask that the school board urge the district administration to return to the table to negotiate in good faith with both teachers and classified. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Barbara Turner. I've been in the district for 16 years. I teach at Crossroads, Clark A, and Petaluma High School. I'm a resource specialist. And I have kind of two things as quickly as I can. First, Mr. Bowman, please come back to the table. This morning you visited a school that I was in, and we were both working. And I need you to work. I need to not be here. I need to be home doing curriculum. Please come back to the table and negotiate. I beg of you. The board, I would like you to be open to listening to other possibilities in terms of budget and ways in which some of the people who've talked tonight can get what we so desperately need. As an older person who is the sole support for my family, I have a second job that I have to have. I don't know any other profession where you reach the point that I'm at and you have to do that in order to survive. So please help. Thank you.
All right, Amy, you're the closer.
I knew I was going to be the last one.
Big responsibility. Sorry. Totally random too, I swear.
This is my first time speaking in front of you. I want to thank you for listening to comments. Today was the first day of school for children for a lot of schools, and I had a wonderful, beautiful first day with my 4th grade class at McNair Elementary. Thank you to the classified staff and everyone who supports the schools to make them so inviting and beautiful and clean and safe. Thank you very much. I came up here because last week, as I was in my room getting prepared for the upcoming school year, I got a visit from an old student teacher of mine who was the first teacher that I mentored. Since I came to Petaluma City Schools 8 years ago, going on 8 years, I immediately got involved with a mentoring teacher through Sonoma State. I came from Santa Clara Unified. I took a $20,000 a year pay cut to work here. Santa Clara is not a parity district, definitely is not. My wonderful student teacher comes, she's just moved back to Petaluma. She's got her little 6-month-old baby boy. I'm so excited. She's the most brilliant young teacher I've ever worked with since. I've had many, many good student teachers. She still stands out as the best. She immediately was hired at Hamilton in Novato. She's been working there for 7 years, and she just dropped a little bomb on me that she's making $10,000 more a year than I am. I just wanted to share that little piece of information with you. And again, I also want to say this isn't about a raise. I'm listening to all these incredible professionals in here begging you for something that they shouldn't have to beg you for. I hope you guys realize that. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you all for your comments. I would also like to share with you that as normal practice, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. I would encourage everybody to stay. We have a lot more on the agenda, but if you would like, take 2 minutes. And anybody who needs to get home after our first day of school, please go ahead and do so, all right? So quick break. All right. We're back. Moving on to item J, agenda approval, consent agenda by consolidated motion, remembering that we took out item 2 and the consolidated for a hold item. We'll take a motion. Second. All those in favor of the consolidated motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
I got it.
You got it? Yeah. Got it?
Oh, sorry, Don. Sherry. And unanimous on the consent agenda.
Okay, so then why don't we bounce right to what we just pulled off the consent agenda?
Mary Mike.
Item.
It was Mary Mike.
Mary Mike.
Mary motion, I second. Sorry. So it's the M&M show.
On item J.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving to K2. Mr. Badley asked that we pull this for discussions, this counseling field experience agreement for Sonoma State University for 2014-2015, and the recommendation is for the board to approve the July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2015 Sonoma State University Counseling Field Experience Agreement. So I'll take a motion.
So moved.
I'll take a second.
Second.
And I will open that up for discussion. Mike, you had a question about it?
Yeah, but why isn't it the gentleman just, approaching the phone?
No, I think we have 80 people who just turned their phones back on.
Oh.
Sorry.
Anyhow, my question was, okay, now I got it. My question for you, Midge, was, and maybe it's just the attorney in me, but 4.2 indemnification. Under section B, it says that the university, meaning Sonoma State, will save, harmless, and indemnify the district against all claims, demands, suits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then it says, as a result of negligent act or omission of the university and/or its officers and/or its agents and/or employees in connection with its and their performance of the terms of this agreement. But curiously enough, it admits the student, and I'd be more concerned because I doubt that their employees are going to be on our campus, but their student will be, correct? So I think they're the student or students who are going to be on our campuses and working with our students, we need to be indemnified. I hope nothing ever happens, but just in case.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm sure our insurance company will appreciate it. So I just think that needs to be added in there somewhere.
Okay.
And I read it, so I don't think I missed it, but
Okay.
Is that going to be a problem?
Well, I will.
I would recommend that we not approve it at tonight, and that we go back to Sonoma State and get that addressed and bring it back.
yeah, I'd just like to see that included because,
Yeah.
again, that's the agent, if you will, that if there's going to be any liability that we incur, it's probably going to come through that person. It's probably going to be something they don't mean to do. I'm not trying to, castigate students. I love college students. I have a few of them. But I just want to be careful for our purposes.
Are they going to be working at elementary schools?
They work all over the district.
They work all over the district,
All right, so I've got a motion out there right now, so let's vote to table, bring it back.
Or hold it till next meeting.
Yeah, table.
Okay. Everybody in favor of that?
Yeah.
Aye.
All good? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate that. All right, let's move to item K4, resolution 14.
We skipped K1.
Skip K1. Yeah, we had a vote on the.
How did I do that?
It's usually not a vote, but we do have it as a.
Yeah, you know what? I gotta figure out how to highlight on this thing. I apologize.
It's all right. I was worried you're gonna just.
Actually, I was moving
too, and I wasn't prepared to speak.
I was moving it to the very bottom because I want you to close on that one.
Well, when you said K1, Troy was thinking kindergarten. We said K2, you were thinking skiing.
Right. So let's move back to the employment report. I will take, before we have comment, I will take a motion on approving. And I'll take a second. From anybody? Second? All right.
So,
Trevor.
really just want to share, although your, the employment report shows a certain number, last Wednesday, we had 49 new certificated employees here in this room being welcomed and oriented to the district. And it just was tremendous, number one, the work that Holly was doing to get all those people through, but just the enthusiasm and kind of joy of the student. They all got to talk a little bit about who they were. I was out in sites, as a number of us were today, and looked up those new teachers that we've hired and saw tremendous work going on. So I just wanted to make sure, share that, because it's been, it's pretty tremendous how many new people we have here. I also wanted to share that we've also hired 23 new classified employees, and we've got 14 that we're working to hire right now, classified employees. So a lot of influx of really new energy and new folks. Some of them, and the rep, some of them said, I'll take a $10,000 cut because I'd like to work in Petaluma. Most of them were new teachers and excited about their first job. So it's just wanted to make sure that we shared that with you.
Very good. Any questions? Okay. All those in favor of the appointment report?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And I'll do a better job of seeing this little B right here, which you should have seen, I apologize. Just threw me a curveball there. Now, moving to item A4, Resolution 141510 of the Board of Education, Petaluma City School, Elementary School District, and Petaluma Joint Union High School Districts, County of Sonoma, State of California, eliminating classified positions. I'll take a motion.
Second.
Second. And I'm looking back to you, Ron.
Yes, obviously not as good as the other, but last year there was a concern that expressed to us by our food service director about the not all of our employees have passed the National Registry of Food Safety Professionals. And so he provided training for all the employees who hadn't yet passed it. They took about, I think they all took at least 4 tests, well, if they hadn't passed it, 4. And so 4 of the employees were still unable to pass the food safety test. And as with our agreement with the CSEA, we had to ask them not to be working with our students' foods. And so they did get a layoff notice, or will directly.
Okay. And I see that there's some discussion here about putting them on the 39-month rehire list.
Yes, they will be on the 39-month rehire list. They have the opportunity to, yes, if they can pass the test. Although then that's when there's a position open, because we will be filling those positions as soon as we possibly can.
Okay. I'm sorry, Phoebe, did you?
Oh, that was my question. Were any of those new hires to fill these positions? Of 14?
Not yet. The 14 that I mentioned, some of those are to fill these positions. They're mid-flown, and so we're in the process of trying to hire them right now.
Okay.
I'll just stand up here for a minute.
It's the next thing.
Yeah, I could have consolidated, but one's reduction and one's elimination, so.
Yes.
All those in favor of Resolution 10?
Aye.
Okay. So 14, 15, 11 is a resolution reducing classified positions.
Second.
Right, that's a special ed position. The student needed less service, and so this is cut in 24 minutes per day for that employee, because the student doesn't need the amount of service that he or she needed last year.
And this is a one-to-one tutor, is that what we're?
It doesn't say that, but I assume it must be, because that's how we would work that.
I know tutor's not the right word, it's just.
Instructional assessment.
Yeah,
special
no.
ed.
And there's any questions on that? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Do we have any discussion on the Williams settlement for the fourth quarter?
Just the fact that there were no incidents at all.
Please note that the Williams settlement was discussed.
Yep.
All right, moving down to business services, item 5, purchase orders and lists of expenditures. If I could just ask everyone on the board if you could look at those very quickly, or I'm sure you already have, to tell me if you have any kind of a conflict and need to recuse yourself from either of those.
I do on list of expenditures.
On list of expenditures, so item 6, you are going to, so we'll do these separately. Okay, so I will look for a motion to approve the purchase orders for number 1.
Second.
All those in favor of purchase orders?
Aye.
As presented, they are approved. 5-0. List of expenditures, Mr. Badley will recuse himself, and I'll.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, all those in favor of the list of expenditures as presented?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 0 with Mike out. Okay, item 7, the grant acceptance ratification between the Bay Area Air Quality. It is Bay Area Air Quality, right? It's just Bay Area Quality Management District.
Quality, you're right.
And Petaluma Joint Union High School Districts for a lower emission school bus replacement.
So moved. Second.
Somebody's giving us money?
Yes, $164,000 to buy a bus, to replace an older bus that doesn't meet the emissions requirement. So our Director of Transportation, Crystal Goring, applied for the grant and received it, so it's great. Yeah.
So I have a question about that. How many, have we gotten rid of most of the old Stinkies?
That are all still up
Most
here.
of them are. We still have a few.
I have a few still.
What cost analysis to operate the new buses versus the old buses? I mean, significant, right?
There should be savings, but I don't have an exact figure. But I can get that for you if you like.
I mean, I'd like to see it, yeah. I mean, it's not compelling, but I'd sort of like to see it.
I assume it's the gas power buses what we're talking about.
Excuse me?
Is this the natural gas power buses or is this just the
No.
clean diesel?
This is just a regular,
Okay. They have the idle restriction and all that.
It's got to be fuel and maintenance, and if they're being more efficient,
More
there should
efficient
be
vehicle.
savings in, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Well, I can tell you that very often in the morning going to Lakeville Highway, I follow one of our buses. And that is not the new one. So, maybe if somebody wanted to do that, that would be.
I'll see if this bus will be on the Lakeville
Maybe
route.
you could put it on the Lakeville route.
It's one of the big buses, because there's 164,000 is one of the big buses, so.
Right, so,
Okay.
all those in favor of getting a grant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Moving on to then item 9, the second reading bylaws for the.
Wait, what happened to item 8?
eight.
Well, you want to speed this thing up.
Well, I said grant.
I can't, okay, Kenilworth Drive, I can't get away from Little League Field, that's the problem.
That's it, yes.
This thing's following me everywhere I go. All right, let's go to item 8, excuse me, I'm sorry. Grant deed of easement authorization for, looks like a public street and public utility purposes on Kenilworth Drive.
So moved. Second.
So this has got to be Target Center, that whole
Yes.
piece? How
So-
many of these have we done? I mean, I swear, every 2 months we do a new one of these.
Yes, this one, you would have thought would have been combined with some of the other ones.
Did they actually buy the bus yard by easement? We've just been giving them a piece every,
Piece by piece.
yeah, just right through, and we just didn't know?
No, not quite. But this is a very good one because basically this is turning over the road area and basically they get to maintain it. So, we're happy about that.
That'll be a savings then.
Yes, so that'll be,
I kind of wonder, because that's somewhat next door to you, how close is that to you? That's probably within 500 feet.
Yeah, it's
Let's pull you off this one, is that okay?
Okay, sure.
Steve, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
All right, because Lace Hustling is right there,
Right.
so.
Right.
Does anybody have any other questions about this? We still have a bus yard that we own, right?
yes.
At the end of the day?
We do.
It's ours.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
How many buses are out there?
We have about 30 buses, no, about 35 buses roughly that reside there.
No.
And this is a non-exclusive easement, right?
Non-exclusive,
An easement for public street and public utility purpose over and across, meaning, they're going to use it for that, but we still get to use it.
oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, it is literally the road. It is literally.
the entire road.
No, it's a portion of the road that runs from in front of the warehouse yard to the end of the transportation yard. So,
I think if I remember correctly, and this is going way, way back, but that didn't go all the way through at one point.
Right.
And so I think in the push through, and this is a long time ago, but in the push through, no, not recently, not like within this development, but a long time ago. So, okay.
Okay.
Questions, concerns? Okay, with Phoebe abstaining, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let's see if I can actually find my place here and get correctly to the next. Item 9, right?
Yes.
Second reading of bylaws for the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee.
So moved. Second.
Anybody have any questions or discussions on that?
Do we have citizens interested in being on it?
Yes, we do. We have a list that has been submitted through various venues, and we are sending them out a letter and an application for them to fill out for the board's consideration. And we will also be publishing it in the newspaper after today, to let people know that these positions are available and they're advisory only, and for your consideration at the next board meeting.
So they have to submit a written application?
They do.
All right.
And the terms and the scope of their duties are all set by law, right? So we have to,
They're set.
as I read this, I mean, it's got several I mean, not just categories, but the term of service is staggered, right?
Is the previous oversight committee still in place? Or
It is still in place. That one's not legally mandated. It's one that the board established as part of the language for the parcel tax. Passing Prop 39 bonds legally requires us to have an oversight committee for the general obligation bonds.
All right. Other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there any discussion on the quarterly report from the county? No? It's kind of slow. All right, educational services, we're all consent. Future business item in, this was kind of a light meeting, what's coming up?
So we'll have the unaudited actuals. The next meeting is first, the 9th of September. So unaudited actuals on that, as well as a review of the goals and objectives for last year. And then we'll come back at the second meeting in September with proposed goals for 14-15.
Very good. Okay, we are going to go back to closed session. We did not finish closed session before we started, so I'm going to adjourn to go back to closed session. We'll take care of the readouts when we're done with closed session. All right, so we're going to adjourn.
Thank you for coming.